After completing a number of the large angels, you'll have some extra ruffle pieces. Just combine 2 of those to make the smaller ruffle angel. Super easy. Let's get started because you can make this. Welcome to RickRackRuby. I'm Laura Cluvo. Today we will make this 5-inch ruffled angel from 2 strips of jelly roll that's been pleated or gathered. The face is a 20mm round wooden bead, hair yarn, 20 gauge gold wire, 1/16 inch ribbon, scrapbook paper, and 6-inch tool, 6-inch wide tool underneath. It's really easy. Let's get started. Here are 2 sections of pleated jelly roll strips that I'm going to sew together to create the dress for the angel. I'm going to set the white one on top, and I make sure that those pleats are going to go down, and I'm going to feed them into my machine like this. Just set it right on top. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Looks something like this. Then I'm just going to put them right sides together and stitch the side seam, which is actually the back seam. Turn it right side out, and there's your little dress. To create the face for our ruffled angel, we will use a 20mm round wood bead. The wood burning tool with a rounded tip will create the eyes. I try to find a nice smooth side of the bead. I don't want the distraction of too much of a grain line showing through her face. And make sure that the wood burning tool is nice and hot. The eyes are a little bit more than halfway up. For the mouth and the nose, I'm going to squeeze out a drop of acrylic paint. This is old, but it is called Mendocino Red by Ceramcoat by Delta. A bottle of paint goes a long way when you're making such a tiny little face. To paint the face, I'm using this bamboo skewer. Just dip it in the paint. See the eyes? Okay. And then 2 dots, and then connect the dots. It kind of makes like a heart shape. There we go. And a little drop for the nose. Dip in the paint. 2 dots. Connect the dots like a little heart. And a small dot for the nose. For the eyelashes and eyebrows, I'm using this Pigma Micron 01 pen in a brown color. The eyelashes and the eyebrows are drawn on with this marker. This is the RickRackRuby face. I've been making this for decades, and I really love it. It's easy and fun. The last step is to blush the cheeks. I use a Q-tip and just cosmetic blush. See how cute? The cheeks and the eyebrows really add a lot of personality. This is 6-inch wide tool. I'm going to cut off 2 lengths about 15 inches each. And then a length of ribbon about the same. I'm tying off the center. I folded over both pieces of tulle here, and then I'm tying off the center in a square knot. Then I'll thread this through the head, through the bead, from the bottom to the top, and I'll pull that tulle through so it fills the hole just until I can see the knot right there. I'll tie the ends in an overhand knot here, and then just for security I'm going to add a drop of hot glue. I added a drop of hot glue right there. I'm going to slide that on so that the glue is at the back of the neck, and it's going to secure the head. And there we go. I'm using a double strand of quilt thread, tied in a knot, and I like to use a thimble. I'm going to start sewing at the back center of the angel where that seam allowance is folded over to one side. I'm going to start right there. I'm going to insert my needle there because I feel like that extra seam allowance helps to secure my thread. I'm sewing just above the stitching from the pleater. Just in and out through a single layer of fabric. Just go all the way around. Then I put the angel inside the gathered up dress. I'm pulling it tight around her neck. I'm going to wrap around and secure it. The seam in back, and then I'm just securing that by going through a couple of times. There we go. And then I'm going to trim the extra tulle. This is what we have so far. To make the collar, gather up about 15 to 18 inches of about 1/2 inch wide flat lace, any kind of lace you like. It's gathered up end to end. I use a thimble. This one's a little full. I think 15 inches would be plenty for this size. And then place it around her neck with the ends in the back and just join the ends of the lace. I like to kind of distribute the fullness evenly. And then I like to stitch all the way through from the back to the front at least once. That way you can make sure that the center of the collar is going to be held securely. There's her collar. Some baker's twine. I'm going to tie a little bow. Sometimes I just do a knot like this with just a couple of strands hanging down, but I think this is long enough. I can do a bow. Then for a little extra decoration, I'm going to choose one of these flowers, and that kind of helps to hold the bow right there. Tie an overhand knot on each end here. There we go. Now she looks like this. She's ready for her hair. This hair is easy. For this 20mm head bead, it doesn't take a lot to cover. Start with the end, this end. I'm going to hold with my pinky and my ring finger. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. And these two fingers I'm going to wrap in a figure 8. 4 times. 2, 3, 4. So there's an X at the top there, so you know you went an even number. Give yourself a generous tail here. And then down through between the fingers, and then I'm going to tie it off in the center. 1, 2. I like having this extra long tail. It just makes everything easier. So now I have something that looks like this. There's 4 strands of yarn on either side, a nice secure knot in the middle, and then the 2 ends. I'll do it again. So I'm going to hold the ends of the yarn, these 2 fingers. I'm going to open up these 2 fingers. There's about maybe 3/4 of an inch in between my 2 fingers. And let me start again. Around the back of my index finger, the front of the middle finger, now the front of the index finger, 3 and 4 and. A nice long tail. It's just harder when you have a short tail. Around, so you make a complete revolution around the center of the bundle. Then you tie it off. I do a square knot. So 2 overhand knots like this. Nice long tails in the center. Tied off very securely in the middle like this. One of these is for the back of the head and the other is for the front of the head. I'll start with the back. There's the back of the head. I'm going to squeeze out a generous amount of hot glue. I'm going to press the knot at the top and kind of arrange these loops at the back of the head, which is not that important because it will be covered by the wings later. And then for the front, I always like to imagine these tails are kind of like her bangs. So I'm going to pull those to the front so that they will lay down like this. And I'm going to squeeze out. This is a little bit, I'm a little bit more careful with this. Squeeze out a little bit of glue right at the top center. Press the knot in there. Okay, like this. And then each little bundle, I'm going to twist to the back and then press into the side. I'll show you a couple of times. Squeeze out a little line of glue, twist to the back, and press into the glue. Now these little bang pieces, I'm going to trim those. I'll leave them about 1/4 of an inch long because it's just kind of cute to have bangs. And then for this side, I'm going to twist to the back and press into the glue. Okay. Twist to the back. I'm going to press into the glue. A line of hot glue. Twist and press. Of course, next is her halo. So the halo is made with 20 gauge gold wire. I'm going to cut off about 2 inches, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I use my thimble to kind of get a round shape. It's kind of an easy thing to shape around since I always have it handy. So I have a little, it's kind of shaped like a headband. And this is going to go at the ends will be glued in like where the ears would be, sort of. So a little drop of glue on each end. And then we're going to glue it to either side of her head like this. There's her halo. It's in front of the hanging ribbon, and it's into the sides of the hair. Now we're going to do the wings, and I'm going to do a little demonstration of how I cut the wings on my die cutting machine. I like to be efficient, so I just cut this down the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I have two identical scallop circle dies. This is about a 5-inch die. It doesn't have to be the exact one that I'm using. You can use any kind of a 5-inch die that you like. And then I'm setting it up on the cutting surface, and I'm going to send it through my Gemini. And so now I have 4 of these scalloped circles. I'm going to fold them in half. I think I'm going to use the sort of diagonal quality of this paper, and so I'll probably fold them like this, so they wind up on the diagonal. And then I'm just going to stitch with a zigzag about 1/4 of an inch or so in from the edge. Okay, the wing piece is stitched up. Remember, there's a right side and a wrong side, and I'm just going to glue this onto the back of the angel, to the back of her head, of course. Dollop of hot glue in the center and press it into the back of her head. Kind of like to make sure it's pretty well centered. And there she is, the ruffled angel ornament. Super fun, super easy, super quick to make. Give it a try.